Blessed ones of the nations of the world, this is your brother Dan Moses, or say Yausakodi of TRC, Ghana, coming to you with the continuation of our exposés, Testimony, New World Disorder, Special Series, Humanity, They Are Coming After Our Souls. This is going to be part 104. We have part 105 and then part 106 as well. Blessed ones, before we begin, we want to welcome each other by saying Akwaba, Allen, Sahalen, Shagitam, welcome, and Ganjoni Benvindo. You are welcome. Koso, Diwo to San Yusenyo, Okukulaba, Mauya, Mingalaba, Boye, Malamu, Karibu, Ekabo, no, o Sanu de Zua, Enkwan de Hena, Mitash, Duburo, Pezalovat, Bine Ivinit, Barigalos, Bita Iche, Avibon, Dobridoya, welcome, Estan, Hozot, Walang, Anuman, bienvenido, Namaste, Swagitan, Kus Hamadid, Baruch, Haba, Marhaba, Huang Yong Haminida, Huang Yin, Nyejeko, Anyamime, Nyejeko, Wezolo, Novio, Mia, Wezo, Akwaba to the program, Testimony, New World Disorder. Testimony, New World Disorder, as we know, is the program through which we get to know what is happening to Ghana, America, humanity, and the nations of the world in these times of global delusion, deception, and willful lies that are made up by some of the very people that we trust to be there for humanity and the nations of the world. However, they are chosen to be the very people that are dealing with us by willful lies, deception, and delusion, having brought my nation, Ghana, humanity, and the nation into this total global helplessness. But we need to understand that all that is happening in your nation, in my nation, the Russia-Ukraine situation, they are all part of the diversionary tactics from the ulterior agenda being pursued against humanity, which is the coming after your soul, my soul, the souls of humanity and of the nations of the world. So whether you are in Ukraine, whether you are in Russia, whether you are in Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia, or on the American continent, you are in a moment of decision to decide as to who you will you give ownership of your soul to. Whether you will let the God that made you in his image and in likeness to take over the ownership of your soul for eternity, or you would give your soul over to the soul takers, soul thieves, to steal your soul, to take over your soul for eternal, perpetual damnation. But as for me and my family in Ghana, families in Ghana, as for me and my two tortured and abducted children, we shall serve the Lord. Therefore, Christ Jesus, my Savior, is our Lord, and to whom we hold and give ownership of our soul. We would want to gladly commend you to the owner of your soul. This is the moment. God bless you. Akwaba to humanity and the nations of the world, to the program Testimony, New World Disorder. We would want to begin by giving a little understanding into the expose that we received on April the 17th. We know that on March 25th was the last expose we received. The next time we received expose should have been April the 15th. However, this is what we need to understand. Because of the cyber attack of all our recording devices, my laptop, my cell phones, the cyber attack and the secret surveillance against me at this premises where the exposes are coming to you. The Biden administration and the Akufo government, in collusion with the State of Maryland Water Company and the Electricity Company, State of Maryland. This determined as they are to silence me from the world getting to know that they are murdering me to cover up the killing of our people through medical, they are seeking medical terrorism against me. They had to cyber attack us to shut our voice. And they went to the extent of cutting our access to electrical power supply. They stepped up further with the household. This is the evil that they were doing. That's why you were not hearing our voice. They stepped up further to cut off access to water supply to the home. No water was flowing in the faucet for days. I didn't have any means of getting water. I had no water to even take my shower. This is the reality of the situation. Beside the unthinkable cyber attack, they were working with the household to ensure that they finished me without the world ever hearing my voice. But God made a way, and on the 17th of April, we were able to come out with those exposés we saw. Because all things work together for good, we were able to present them in wishing the dangerous US undercover agent for whose sake Ghanaians are being killed cowardly in secrecy, to wish a happy 17th, while the whole world was celebrating Easter. We must remember that this is the individual that sought with the US Embassy, the terror network of Nana Addo Akufo Addo, the US government, the CIA, the Secret Service of the White House under Barack Obama, plotted to kidnap me and get me lynched on the soil of Ghana while the whole world was celebrating Easter. So, God made a way, and we were able to, on the 17th of April, wish the undercover agent a happy 17th. Why happy 17th? She was so determined, as we know, to get me killed, to have tied the birth order of my two tortured and abducted children to Michael. She was so wicked enough to have tied the birth order of her crime counterpart, Atto Akwando, Sally Akwando, the undercover agent for the US government, her counterpart, the birth order of their children, Jende and Casey, to the agenda 17 to get me murdered. So, by the grace of God, we have every cause to have wished her happy 17th, because all things work together for good. Humanity and the nations of the world. Akufo to the program. Testimony, New World. So we were pressed against all sides, but we were not perplexed. God was with us and made a way for us on April the 17th. Akufo to the program. Testimony, New World. Humanity, let's continue from where we left off on April the 17th. This expose is being recorded on the 21st of April 2020. 21st of April 2022. We shall receive it, God willing, as soon as we can. However, because of the terrorism, persecution, terror against me, we had to act in direction, according to the direction of God, by starting the recording the expose early enough. What the coward secret killers have done, because they know from us that we had told that we receive another expose, a final expose before God takes me to Ghana. From this Thursday, they have started cyber they have cut off my internet access to prevent us from posting the exposés. I exposed them to Ghana, and immediately they restored the internet access. However, they networked with Ghana, a radio station called Ghana Waves, for a damage control to the cowardly secret killing of Ghanaians, that agenda. So I had to capture evidence on the Ghana waves and transmit it to Ghana once more time by WhatsApp. Immediately, because I'm under the secret surveillance and they were watching me capture the evidence from my laptop live during the program on the Ghana waves. The coward secret killers immediately shut down the internet access on my cell phone, on my laptop. Why? Because they must prevent the expose from reaching out to Ghana, the one I recorded from the Ghana waves. Blessed ones of the nations of the world. We continue. So as I speak, to prevent the exposure to have gotten to Ghana, they have cut off the internet access one more time. So how the coward secret killers work is that they perpetrate their heinous crimes against their victims until their victims accept the terror and the heinous crime as a norm. So they live with the terror and the cowardly secret killing forever. Ghana, this is your situation, and we shall not accept it because all men are created equal. That is why they have cut the access of the internet, because they know not to cease from their evil. Akufo to the program, testimony, he will disorder. Ghana, now, I have told us that from the previous exposition, April 17th, we know how the medical access, the Biden administration, the Akufo Addo government, the Montgomery County Police, the FBI, the Capital Digestive Care, were seeking medical terrorism against me with the household, and we're hoping so much that by March 30th, that will be the end of my life. I'll be out of life, just like they used the medical field to cowardly kill His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings in secrecy, and they used the same medical field to kill my father and my uncle in secrecy. I have told us that. When I got injured on the job due to the persecution, terror, and torture against me, discrimination against me on the job by the FBI, Montgomery County Police, all of them. When I sustained the injury, I had showed us the evidence of an individual of the home that was used to orchestrate an agenda to blame the injury on arthritis, so that the Exxon Company, Exxon Terror Company, get away with their responsibility of taking care of the injury, on the job injury. This plan was orchestrated with the residents of the home. I've told us, Ghana, let's also know this. Having succeeded in using the lab to come out with fake lab results, to come out with fake X-ray reports that the injury have a mild arthritis, to seek to blame the injury on the arthritis. Right from the start of their agenda to use medical terrorism against me to cover up the crimes, the injury that I've sustained on the job. They were ahead of the arthritis agenda and the medical terrorism they have orchestrated. Were using the residents of the household to use tactical strategy of slow poisoning. Slow poisoning, I said, because we share the same fridge, the entire household, with all the other tenants and the household. We share the same fridge in the home. There are 2 fridges, but we share the fridge at the home. So all my prepared food are kept in the home. Humanity, and if I have any cooked food. So they were using tactical strategy of secret cowardly poisoning, just to induce the effect, the symptoms of arthritis, just to seek to destroy my internal organs. That was the time that I was calling on Ghana and humanity through this channel, telling us that they are destroying my internal organs. Ghana, That was the evil that this household was being used to pursue. God has helped me. I have not died, and I did not die yet. Africa and all Americans that believe in the human race, humanity and the nations of it, have every cause to be totally outraged and in defense of life, without any weapon, totally resist the Biden administration and the Akufo government for the willful intent to get me murdered through medical terrorism. Ghana, let's hear this. As determined as they are to murder me in America, this is what the Ghana Embassy, Washington, D.C., the coward secret killers in America, Montgomery County Police, the FBI, the terror net of Nana Addo Akufo did as far back as 2020, before they cowardly killed His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings by medical terrorism. This is what they did. They had persecuted, terrorized, and tortured me on the job and at home, to the point that I was literally bleeding internally, and it was manifesting in the physical. So I had to go to the United Nations, writing to the United International Criminals, expressing the terrible situation in which I was. Life and death. I'm being killed against the due process of law. Immediately, the Ghana Embassy, the Akufo government, orchestrated a cover-up by making the Ghana Embassy come out with announcement to the Ghanaian people, to the world, that they are evacuating the Ghanaian people in America that are stranded because of their so-called COVID. They are evacuating the Ghanaians to Ghana. Why? Because the imminent and existential death threat that I was in, life and death situation, they must cover it, their shame before the United Nations International Criminal Court, international authorities, that I have chosen to remain in that life and death situation. But the Ghana Embassy, the government of Akufo, is more than willing to evacuate me if indeed I am in such a total helpless situation. Like, this is the Ghana Embassy. So they came out with the announcement, and God gave me the prudence of writing to the Ghana Embassy in relation to the announcement that I'm pleading with them. They should evacuate me to my blessed land of Ghana. Guess what the Ghana Embassy did? They refused to respond to my plea. And then instead, they orchestrated with all African food stores, Gettysburg, Maryland. Because after then, they have taken my job I had with the 7-Eleven company, Henderson Corner, Germantown, Maryland. They are giving only 2 days to work in a week, making sure that they have cut off all my funds, have no means of supporting myself. That was what they were doing, let alone take care and pay for the financing of my internal bleeding. Ghana, the Ghana Embassy, when I had approached them to get me evacuated back to our land, they quickly, knowing that I have expressed the financial difficulty that I am in to the United Nations International Criminal Court, they paved a way for all African food stop to hire me right at that moment in the month of August. This that I'm telling you, the records were reaching the United Nations between January and August. In August, they quickly paved the way. Montgomery County Police, the FBI, and orchestrated for the All African Food Store to hire me. And then, what they decided to do is, now they are painting an ill impression that I have a means of income, so I can purchase my own airline ticket and go home. Ghana, before that my hiring, the Ghana Embassy was made to, instead of helping to get me evacuated, in response to my plea, they sent me my I must purchase my own airline ticket. Send me information, response. I must purchase my own airline ticket. And beside that, there is a 2 weeks quarantine in the hotel, sending me the hotel bills that if I get to Ghana, I would pay. That was before they quickly paved the way for all African to hire me to seem to shift their responsibility of their own citizens that they are aiding the US government to murder in America, to run away from their responsibility of evacuating me back to my land. So I am working, I'm making income so I can pay for my airline ticket. I reported back to the international authorities and I pressed on. God helped me. Amidst the Ghana Embassy, Montgomery County Police, FBI, for the purpose of the covering up of the coward secret terrorism by this US undercover agent, with Mary A. Miller, with the crimes of the All African Food Store involving the Ghana Embassy staff, personally, physical presence of the Ghana Embassy, they went to the extent of orchestrating to chop off my finger right on the job. Ghana, afterwards, they realized that I was still bent on leaving the country for Ghana. So what they did was, on the 25th of September, they made the company to prevent me from leaving America for my blessed land of Ghana. They orchestrated with the company to attack me on the job, put me in the company car, drove me from Gettysburg to Germantown, that in the plot with Montgomery County Health and Human Services, that they make up false COVID positive results against me to prevent me from flying to Ghana. Humanity, I kept exposing them to the United Nations about such shameless coward security terrorism that they are perpetrating against under the guise of COVID. The result was they backtracked and gave me positive COVID negative results eventually. Ghana and the nations of the world acquired to the program New World Disorder, having backtracked from their agenda of medical terrorism against me. The Ghana Embassy, the Akufo government, the coward secret killers in Maryland, in the US, knowing if I get to the soil of Ghana, their shame will be too much for them to bear, because they knew I had bought my airline ticket. What they did was an immediate orchestration to kill His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings on November the 12th, 2020. That's it, 2020, before ever I get to the soil of Ghana. I arrived on the soil of Ghana on December the 7th, 2020. Humanity and the nations of the world acquire to the program Testimony, New World Disorder. We need to understand how dangerous this US undercover agent, the Ghana Embassy, traitors within, have been. Joe Biden and his administration have continued to be against my precious life, seeking to murder me by medical terrorism. Ghana acquired to the program Testimony, New World Disorder, United Nations, International Criminal Court, Hague, humanity and the nations of the world. Let's hear this. Nana Addo Akufo and his government, they are determined purpose to get me murdered in America, that I never set foot on the soil of Ghana. Against national and international law, everything that is called law, they are determined so as to get me murdered. As far back as 2020, this is the evil they did with the Ghana Embassy, and yet God took me to the land. What are they doing this year, 2022? Even as God is taking me back to America, back to Ghana, my blessed homeland, Ghana. On March 24th, 2022, being that the government of Nana Addo Akufo, Joe Biden and his administration are bent on medical terrorism against me under the guise of COVID, which I refused to submit to, and they took my job from me at the 7-Eleven Middlebrook Road in the month of December, and stepped ahead to rob me of my income for the dangerous US undercover. I refused. And then on the 17th of January, that was when they have orchestrated with the Montgomery County Police to seek to attack me if I go to the company for my wages. The agenda that they have orchestrated. January 17th came and they failed. They couldn't get me murdered. Because they couldn't handle the expose coming from here. And I was pressing for my wages that they have stolen from me using the 7-Eleven company for the dangerous US undercover agent. What they had to do was to carry out coward secret terrorism against a PT of the Western region, kill my people to divert the attention of the Ghanaian people from what was coming. Ghana, humanity, Akufo to the program testimony, new world disorder. I'm saying that I hold a record of evidence in my hands. This document went to the United Nations, Office of the Secretary General. I urge the entire human race to contact the United Nations, whether on the 24th of March 2020, on the 24th of March 2022, 24th of March, as the date states, 2022. I have sent this document to the United Nations, Office of the Secretary General, and a copy to the Office of the Prosecutor, ICC, The Hague, a copy to the US Justice Department, and a copy to the Office of the Chairperson of the African Union. In that document, because Akufo government and Nana Addo Akufo, they are bent on medical terrorism against me, I have to tell the United Nations that I am going to avail myself. Let's not forget that they have set the agenda that on the 30th of March, they were finishing me through medical capital digestive care, through a so-called medical procedure, finishing me for good. They sedate me and will never wake me up after the procedure. They hoped everything will succeed. So, on the 24th of March, I had gone to the United Nations, telling the United Nations, I'm going to avail myself for the medical terrorism to be committed against me by the Akufo government and Nana Addo Akufo and Joe Biden administration. I'm going to avail myself openly for them to medically terrorize me. In order for the Biden's administration, the Akufo administration, to cover up their shame again before the United Nations and International Criminal Court, that they have sought medical terrorism against me under COVID and under all criminal means to no avail. And now I have opted that I am going to avail myself for them to openly terrorize me because I was going to Ghana and therefore they have opportunity. Even when I had called and cancelled my appointment, that medical procedure appointment with Capital Digestive, their mother company in Silver Spring, they have decided, even when I've called to cancel it, I have still called, written to the United Nations and told United Nations I'm going to avail myself for the medical terrorism, which means that the under COVID and my travel is the only means that they are going to get to use the medical field to terrorize me. In order for the Akufo government, Ghana Embassy, Washington, D.C., the coward secrets to cover up their shame, they quickly, on the 4 days after, on the 28th of March 2020, 28th of March, 4 days after I've gone to the United Nations, Joe Biden made Akufo come with a State of the Nation's address, the state of the COVID, and quickly retracted all the COVID restrictions in Ghana, as though he was paving way for me to enter Ghana without they getting me medically terrorized. We were making a fool of the United Nations and International Criminal Court. Ghana, let's hear this. This was done in response to the document that I've sent to the United Nations on the 24th of March. So Ghana never knew how God battled on their behalf before the nation was released from that unthinkable, untold restrictions against the church, the mosque, and the synagogue, against the Ghanaian people. Ghana, you have no idea. The document went before the United Nations. And Nana Addo Akufo responded 4 days after. Humanity and the nations of the world. I call about your program, Testimony, New World Disorder. Before Nana Addo, let's see how diabolical Nana Addo Akufo and his administration, Joe Biden and his administration, how they are determined to murder me under medical terrorism. Before, so just in case Ghanaians would, stakes in Ghana, the religious bodies, the various human rights bodies, we said, okay, and Addo Akufo have paid a way to avoid me being murdered in Ghana by lifting the COVID restrictions in Ghana so I could return to my land peacefully. Let's see how diabolical Akufo was by the lifting up this restriction, making it target specific. They made sure with the Joe Biden administration that my job with the Exxon Mobil company, which I have worked for, and they have hated me, persecuted me, discriminated against me, made me suffer on the job injury. And I'm bearing the cost, partly cost of the treatment, partly with United Healthcare Insurance, which was also aiding the terror crimes against me. I'm bearing the cost, and I had come out of the injury. They made sure that in line with Nana Addo Akufo-Addo's COVID restriction lifting, they have made the Exxon company terminated my job to make sure that I have no source of income to be able to buy my airline ticket to Ghana. They as well made sure that as far back as December 2021, they have used the IRS to steal my tax return money for the dangerous US undercover agent. And they were using the IRS, the FBI, to make a fool, to play intelligence game by saying that they have they need 16 weeks, which will fall in April, to be able to give me to finish processing my tax refund, my taxes, to be able to get me my refund. As far back as December, the IRS, the U.S. Treasury Department, they have all colluded to do this evil, and they were using automated voice message to cover up their evil until the month of March, when they saw that they could no longer cover up the evils, because April shall surely come. They started coming out with their faces openly to show that they have stolen my money for the dangerous US undercover. They did that alongside Akufo-Addo's COVID restriction. And then they have used the Labor Department, who is aiding to cover up my undue paid wage that I'm claiming from Georgina Menu of the International Food Warehouse, which company was being used by the Akufo-Addo government, Montgomery County Police, FBI, the Ghana Embassy, Washington, D.C., involving this time staff of Ghana Embassy, the same staff that was used in the terror of chopping off my finger. His name is Kweku. He poses sometimes as Kofi because of the terror he's engaging against his state. So the Labor Department has taken an entrenched position shamelessly with the so-called investigator of the case, robbing me of my undue past wages to cover up the killing of Ghanaians in the interest of the dangerous US undercover agent Georgina Menu and the Biden and Akufo-Addo administration. Ghana, I call back to the program, Testimony, New World Disorder. In any case, it was not Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. It was not His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings. It's not His Excellency Mahama who imposed the unimaginable COVID restrictions on Ghana and on the nations of the world. It was not Osagyefo Dr. Akufo. It was not Jerry John Rawlings. It was not His Excellency Mama. It was carried out against Ghana, against the church, the mosque and the synagogue, the worshippers and the non-worshippers, by the government of Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. So Ghana, if on the 28th of March, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo treacherously lifted the COVID restriction, what praise does he deserve? If he has destroyed the economy of Ghana, set fire into buildings, let's say the Bank of Ghana, and have burnt it down, and again decide to reconstruct the Bank of Ghana, what credit is there in for Akufo-Addo for destroying a property of Ghana and then reconstructing it? Ghana, we are not stupid. They have purpose to murder me in America to cover up the heinous crimes of the U.S. undercover agent. Joe Biden and his administration, they are using state, private, entire U.S. government machinery. It is unthinkable, shameless, that the entire state of Maryland is being used in a shameless crime covering investigation on the behalf of this U.S. undercover agent for the covering up of the crime of our people, and yet to no avail. That shows how much God, the just God, loves the Ghanaian people, the African people, the Europeans, the Asians, the Australians, and all of the American continent, because all men are created equal by God and not by men. Humanity, Ghana, they seek to murder me by medical terrorism. It is time for us to rise up. They are using, they have infiltrated the company which, the facility which is supposed to have the PCR test on me to seek to advance their cause of medical terrorism against me, because God is bringing me down to Ghana in this month of April. They are already in touch with the facility, medical facility, to seek medical terrorism against me. Ghana, peacefully and weapon and bowing, we must resist. God bless you. God bless my homeland. Ghana. Bye-bye.